You're probably wondering why this Emirates A380 passenger aircraft is showing livery with torn brown paper and special delivery on the side. Well, when you fly over 250 aircraft to 140 plus cities worldwide, we thought we'd deliver parcels while we're at it. You know, it's just quicker when you've got your own aircraft. Introducing Emirates Courier Express. Open for business. For businesses.
So good morning and hello. My name is Dennis Lister. I'm the head of product and innovation at Emirates Sky Cargo. On my left, I've got two great industry leaders. And if I can get them just to introduce themselves very quickly. Tom, if we can start with you.
Sure, yeah. Tom Colleen from the Hook Group, THG as it's now known, Chief Operating Officer, and just really jealous of the ability for Dennis to fly around first class all over the world, everywhere he goes.
Thank you, Tom. Norful?
Thanks, Dennis. It's Nofal from Childrensalon. We still sell children luxury designer clothing. I am the fulfillment director in UK and the general manager in Middle East. And exciting to see shipping our product with Emirates for premium service.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Norful.
Thank you.
I think this is the first A380 in the world passenger aircraft to ever be painted in a freight or express livery. We're super proud of it, and our business is built with customers, for customers and with customers. So today we're going to have I think a great discussion with our first customers that were maybe brave enough to work with us on this new product. I'd argue we're the first airline in the world to create a truly integrated parcel package solution, integrated cross-border solution in the world on a passenger fleet. So on that, we have two very important partners that were probably of the bravest of the lot to work with us. I've known Tom for a very long time. Norfolk, we've known you now for probably more than 12 months. Of which both have invested their time and their people, technology, etc., to work with us on our first packages that we moved out of the UK into the Middle East. So to get started, both of you were right at the start of us kicking this off. And when you look back now, 12 months, I will start with you, Tom. You had no idea what we were creating apart from creating some sort of express door-to-door solution on a passenger fleet. Why did you want to work with us? And what was the interest in...
Just wanted some free flights, Dennis.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, good. And...
well, look, I mean, in my opinion, anything Emirates touches just seems to turn to gold. So, I mean, it wasn't very difficult to listen to the idea. The idea was sound. The fact that you're connected to nearly every destination in the world already. Your passenger airlines surely have capacity. It was just it was pretty straightforward, really. And obviously Tim, who works with me in D2C logistics, he saw the benefit straight away, and it wasn't really me you convinced, it was him. So
that's true.
And we were massively proud to start with you, and no doubt this will be a ginormous part of Emirates in the future, and we're proud to have been the very first parcel. Apologies, I beat you to it.
He did beat you to it, but briefly, just very briefly. But you, just on that, I think the learnings for us, just you taking us in like the first baby, the infant at the time was really taking us in. You opened up your whole warehouse, you explained the whole technology, ingenuity, which we had no idea about. I mean, we're a passenger airline that carries some cargo. Now we actually carry packages around the world for you.
Look, the thing is I guess you probably picked a really awkward client being us, simply because we're obsessed with data and the customer touch points. So we won't allow anybody to touch any of our parcels or anything whatsoever if we didn't believe that you'd be able to deliver the service. And once we explained our technology and throughputs and capabilities and global presence and etc., then you guys did the same. It was a good synergy from the start.
Thanks, Tom. Norfolk, let's switch to you for a second.
Well,
in the same way, you have a phenomenal brand. Your customers mean everything to you, and I know you wear this on your sleeve. It's super important. You're proud to be part of Childrensalon. Can you tell us or tell the audience why did you take that risk with us? Why did you want to move the first packages on us?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, Childrensalon is a high-end brand, and from as my role at Childrensalon is to make sure our customers receive the best service they ever wanted and expected. And then when Emirates approached me, first thing I do with any new service coming up is what is my personal experience first. So we always put ourselves first. And my first thoughts is I fly with Emirates around the world, and I never had a delay. So that's straight away in my mind is making sure that the parcel's being delivered on time with good quality service. That's what I expected from Emirates. And that's what I wanted to give to, if my experience is that great and joy, that I would love to offer that to our customers. And that's one main key point for us.
So Norfolk, we can stay with you for a second. It's been 12 months on, and we've delivered packages for you into the Middle East.
Yes.
What are the things that have worked well, and what are the things we can improve on?
Well, so far is so good. I think when we started to talk together and actually developed the Courier Express together by you listening to our customers' need, I think it was first parties not just delivering the parcel faster, but it's delivering the quality to our customers. So the customer received the package in good quality as they placed the order with a luxury brand, luxury clothing. So it's the whole experience, not just about the premium service. It's the whole experience from ordering from UK to UAE next day service to delivering it on with the right service. So us trusting Emirates is like feeling, it's like us Childrensalon themselves delivering it to our customers hand to hand. So that's what we really want to achieve. So far, our customers are feeling that vibe, and things to improve is we can do it in a half a day. Can you?
We will do our very best to do it in. Well, technically, the biggest constraint for us is the flying time, and we manage that. So that's the longest lead time you have in the entire end-to-end journey. And really, I think you touched a good point, because if I look at the use of, and I know, Tom, you talk about this all the time, the use of technology, and that's something that we learned from you as well. We went in with a mindset of just using digital first to make sure that when we create the solution, we're not having any paper in the supply chain. We have full API integration with both of you. So, and I find it phenomenal, because if you look at the world, in my former world at one of the other companies I worked for before, there was a lot of paper that moves in this industry. And I think that idea of digitalization is becoming fundamentally important. You both do a phenomenal job, and Tom, specifically you are a tech freak, if I can say that. You understand technology very well, and we want to embrace that. And what we've tried to do is, through pure API integration, that there is absolutely no paperwork. And even on the early days, we're talking about customs clearance. If you look at the end-to-end supply chain, one of the hardest parts in the supply chain is the final mile in clearance. I believe we've nailed that to the most degree, where we basically, out of the UK, when we fly to Manchester, Birmingham, whatever it might be, or Heathrow, on departure of the aircraft, we actually have something called B2G, business to government. So stuff is cleared on wheels up. So as we get the trigger from the aircraft taking off, at that point we clear stuff in the Middle East into the UAE. And I think that creates the sort of speed that we're talking about. Because I think, Tom, in your world, speed, efficiency is everything.
It is. Also choice of delivery at the same time. So the express product is a requirement for certain customers that just want things just much faster, right?
Yeah.
To touch on the question you asked a minute ago, how can you improve? Open more destinations faster. Simple. Because we would love to do more volume with you.
I love that. I love that. I mean, that's, for me, that's one of the best challenges I can get from you. And as you know, we fly to 147 destinations, and we continue to increase.
Yeah.
With that fleet that we have, that essentially becomes, I say, your fleet that you have access to. That's more than 260 aircraft that we operate. And in the next 10 to 20 years, we'll get to 300 plus aircraft. So that becomes, we basically are breaking down the barriers and democratizing logistics and capacity for you.
Yeah, the seamlessness of your solution is quite attractive, and I probably get 250 reports before 6 a.m. in the morning. But the ones I really look at are the tolerance reporting. So if anything's out of tolerance, I jump on it within 5 minutes before getting in the gym, and you don't seem to pop up. So you're clearly doing a very good job, because I don't have to look at any tolerance reporting whatsoever for Emirates. It's just, ultimately you just do exactly what you say on the tin.
Super. Thank you. Good feedback. Yeah, go ahead.
Another point is you're controlling the control tower for all airlines. In the last experience for the last 12 months, we had one order that it's going to be delayed, and we've been notified by customer service to say that order is going to be delayed. We often receive that from the customer upset, saying, "Where is my order?" However, with this service is notifying us before, so we can tell our customers, is phenomenal. So where all of our parcels digital, and you notify the customer is very, very important. So then we can rectify that. We can always send a replacement to our customers before anything happens.
So I think on that, one of the main things, the USPs that we have with the solution is, if you look out of the UK, we have 6 flights out of Heathrow alone. We have multiple flights from multiple gateways across the UK. There was a power outage in London not so long ago, if you remember, and the whole airport came to a standstill, which impacted the whole of the Heathrow area, the horseshoe, everything was impacted. Freight couldn't move.
Yeah.
The advantage we have is
to Manchester, though, don't you?
Well, no, we do have an operation in Manchester, and that's what we did. We actually started rerouting some of the freight and some of the packages to the various other airports. And the other thing is, if you miss the one flight, you get the one that moves out an hour later or an hour later. So we have that direct capacity that we can feed on multiple flights, creating, which I think is super important, resilience in the network. And I've seen your warehouses, and it's fully automated. And for those that haven't seen it, I don't think Tom will give you an invite for it, but it's phenomenal how they have these little robots spinning around everywhere and doing the pick and pack. It's really cool to watch. And for me, they've done their part. You do what you can do to your best ability and continue to improve those things. We want to make sure that it is completely seamless and that you don't have issues on that supply chain, because you already nailed that in the front end. So we want to make sure that we can work together and improve on that. So maybe, Tom, if I come back to you, this is probably more personal for you, because not too personal. Okay. THG is a British startup. And if I just look at the story of what Matt did and how he built the company, it's a classic Disney ending. It's a really cool story. Started in his garage or in the basement or whatever it was, and then sort of built this business up with DVDs, I think, or CDs. For those who remember what CDs are and DVDs are. Mm-hmm. Marika knows for sure. When that all kicked off, I guess he had no expectation that it's going to build into this giant and this billion-pound entity. How can you? Because it's such a big story, and you don't know about THG, right? So what's the story, and how did we get to where we are today?
Run out of time if I told you the full story, but look, I think Matt himself did know, because he convinced me. I was living in Vienna at the time in Austria, and I had a great life. And he convinced me to move back to Manchester to work for THG and try and build some of the brands that we'd just bought. My Protein, Look Fantastic, etc. And actually, in his mind, he'd already achieved unicorn status. It just hadn't been, it's not materialised in reality. So we went from 2004 selling CDs, DVDs, etc. And then we started buying brands. And then we started understanding that, fast-moving consumer goods has a sincere value, more than retail itself, with arguably a 10x multiple of your revenue. So we just thought, I'm going to grow online brands digitally, and then we started building a platform, a technology platform. As a result of that, you just start building divisions off the back. So THG Fulfill, for instance, was a concept that we built off the back of our own brands and the obsessiveness of customer service and getting it right. And then not only that, the communication is absolutely critical as well, on traceability of parcels, communication on post-customer comms. And any partner that we plug into at the back end has to be as obsessed with the customer themselves. Otherwise, genuinely, we just won't work with them. And there's plenty of big partners in the world that we just don't work with because we don't believe they've got a customer first ethos. So when Emirates came along with this product, I just thought, really culturally the businesses align with our kind of history and the way it's been built. Emirates also, it's not been around that long. It's a bullet train of a business itself, and seems to be able to productize different aspects of itself on a consistent basis, similar to what we've been doing. So culturally, it was a perfect synergy. But the journey of THG is ongoing. I'd like to think now we've demerged part of the business and we've got Ingenuity with Commerce Studios and THG Fulfill. It's basically like THG 2.0 all over again. It's a bit like Wolf of Wall Street in our offices sometimes. It's so aggressively driven and fun. But not as crazy, by the way, as Wolf of Wall Street. But it's very cool. An entrepreneurial place to live, to work with an average age of about 26. So I'm a dinosaur now in this place. But because we're a tech business, it's the youth of today that teaches you the future of tomorrow. So hopefully that answered your question.
That has, Tom. And by the way, when we do a Teams call with you, what's behind your seat? What have you got on your counter? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, just a selection of planes that you gave me.
Excellent. So I think on that, if you just look at this first-class service that we talk about, and we are a passenger airline, and what we do is obviously fly passengers around the world. And if we can fly 30 to 50 million passengers around the world and care for every single passenger on the plane, we should be able to do that for packages. And I think that's something we want to, that's the essence of what we do. And we get really irritated if there is a package, because every package counts for an individual customer somewhere in the world that's important for them to get it on time as expected. When we launched this, the 1st of April, it was done as an April Fool's thing, and we had the cabin crew with a package in their hand and standing at the first class seat saying, we're now going to do VIP, very important parcels that we're going to deliver around the world. And I think the internet blew up. I think we had, I forget, it was like 6.2 million views on that video that we ran. And everyone came and said, this is crazy. Emirates are not going to do this. There's no way. And the very next day, we went back and said, no, we are doing this. It was kind of a double bluff. And I think it took about a week or so for people to realize we're going to start moving packages around the world. So that was the sort of journey into it and launching it. So you started with us a very long time ago, 12 months, and got things moving. And now we're actually out there, out of the closet, and telling people we're doing it. So one thing we will do is definitely look at new markets. And I think what's different for us is the airline's been around since the 80s. This has been around for a month, properly. And we want to listen to you where you say to us, actually, and we have done, we've built this for business. So you can say to us, because we can pick anywhere on the Emirates network. We can fly. If you want to go to Phnom Penh, we can fly to Phnom Penh. Siem Reap, we can fly to. That's a new destination. I don't think you have packages there yet. But if you say to me it was important, we can do it. And I think we want to work more with our customers to pick destinations around to do that. Maybe just on you, Norfolk, quickly, a similar question. Your brand, and I know the story, is quintessentially British. Phenomenal, high-end retail business. How did this all kick off, and how did you get involved into this business, and what's important for the brand?
Yeah, so the business starts back in 1952. We were actually designing clothes for children, and
post-war, right?
Post-war,
II,
yeah. Designing clothes for children post-war and sewing them by hand. Years after, Michelle, the owner, he took over from her mum and launched the first online website in 2007, and that was by just reading a book and coding her own website with no help from no one.
In the 1950s,
no,
or later on,
2007,
okay, 2000,
and then it starts to be. We were the first to be online for children's luxury wear. And
in the UK?
In the UK,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, there we go. And a few years after, we are a bigger brand, and we store over 270 brands from all around the world. We have our own brand as well, which is, if you know, Beauty St. George. It's a really good brand. We have very, very luxury. We also have what question about what matters for our brand is our customers is very, very important. And because customer matters, we do everything from buying the right product and designing the right product up until delivering it to the customer. So logistics and supply chain makes a very, very important role for the finish, the last touch to our customers, and keeping our customers happy and their trust what we do and fulfilling orders, from order placed to shipped in like an hour and a half to 2 hours. Then we connect with our couriers, and with Emirates, we work backwards. When can the customer receive the order? And then go backwards and say, you need to collect this at 1 o'clock in the morning.
So we collect at 1 a.m. in the morning to make sure it can get delivered.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. So we work backwards. When can the customer receive the order? When can you collect? And then when can the order be ready for the customer? And that's how we work to really enhance our customer experience and always evolve and improve and for customer retention and really we loyal to our customers and really, really important for us.
Okay, good. We're going to move on to maybe one of the sort of getting to the sort of final questions now. So Tom, from your perspective, as demand increases, the world changes, the world faces all these geopolitical challenges and everything going on that's a bit crazy at the moment globally. What are your ambitions if you look at your role in the company? Because every time I speak to you, you're talking to a new client or you've got a new idea, you don't stop. You just keep running. So it's a big question, but considering where we are in the world and how things are going to develop in the next 10 years, what are your ambitions? What's your next big thing or what's your expectations going forward?
For the business itself?
For the business, your business.
So the THG Fulfill business itself was only born out of an idea, 2 years ago, where I just sent an email to my boss, John, the co-founder, and just said, look, I think we've got the capability of becoming a 3PL quite easily because we've got the capability, the technology, the software and the infrastructure and the global presence as well, and a great story that we've grown digital brands ourselves. So we understand the customer touch points. So for the future for the THG Fulfill business, in my head, it's already $1 billion turnover business in my head. Like I said, we only externalized it 12 months ago. It's been 70 million with no sales team whatsoever. The sales team's been established as we speak. And we've got some really big deals that we can land. And we can be disruptive in this space. We don't need to be the biggest. We just want to be disruptive, different. And that's kind of the way we built all of our own brands in the past. And all we're doing is organically growing a brand, externalizing our capability. On top of that as well, we'll have a new product come to market in Q3, which will rival globally in e-shop world, which will be checkout by Fulfill. So we've already got £2 billion worth of GMV running through this product internally. All we need to do is externalize the tools and ensure that cash reconciliation and a couple of plugins are working effectively, and then we're going to launch it in Q3. So our product will extend to checkout, fulfillment, couriers, and it'll be the whole gamut. That will be the new end-to-end for us because, being honest, selling websites, etc., I think our model of that is outdated. You're charging $100,000 to build a website. I can do it on Shopify on a weekend in 30 minutes, and I can get ChatGPT to just do everything else for me now. So I think that's dated. So for us, it's going to be checkout, fulfillment, couriers, and my intention is turning this into the third £1 billion THG business.
That's phenomenal to hear, because what you're talking about there, I guess some people can't quite fathom what that looks like in the next 10 years. It's kind of having that vision of what this could be. Yeah. But it's really leveraging your assets and your technology.
Well, we've got the model itself is quite straightforward, but it's not easy to execute because all the technology is it's a wrapper around it. So, we'll do it in a very CapEx light fashion. Robots as a service is the way we'll roll out a lot of our estate. We have strategic distribution rights with certain automated partners, which makes it easier for us to, I suppose, lob everything up all over the world to continue expanding. And at the moment, we're looking at adding 4 more auto stores into the network in different regions and a couple more warehouses. But really, what we want to do is utilize the space as best as possible, so we're not increasing that fixed cost base, but driving a higher throughput through the same space. So it's just manipulating engineering and changing the way you've always worked and just utilizing space better and just treating fulfillment as a Formula 1 race, because you need to take seconds out of every process. Yeah. And then, and again, if you look at it, it's a Formula 1 race, and then we change drivers, maybe Le Mans, and we give it to you. You've got to do the last leg or the last 24 hours. That's your job. So look, I think that's the future, and that's how we've kind of built the business model.
So essentially, you're also building for the next generation's art, because what you now
I want to retire in about 3 years.
In 3 years, yeah. I can play football or whatever you're going to do. Yeah, that's great. Norfolk, coming to you, maybe more of a personal question. You are not a stranger to the UAE. You've lived in the UAE before, in the Middle East. To the UK, and now you're having an operation in the UAE. So how's the UAE developed, and what was the decision to move from the UAE and now to see how things have changed, and you've now got fulfillment set up in UAE?
Yes, it's a very strange dynamic how it happened, but yeah, that life takes you the way it is. But yeah, no, back 2009, 2010, it was an advanced or developing country, and it's really exciting to see there is a big opportunity there. And then comparing to what back and now, it's way advanced country, and what's opened my eyes is the infrastructure. Everything is easy, from airports to last mile roads. It's really easy infrastructure to help with all of these e-commerce and businesses to deliver to the customer at their customer expectation. But another thing is the digitalization, like you mentioned, all the customer clearance and paperless. All of them is being built in-house, and very easy process. There is no complexity. So when the parcel arrives to UAE, doesn't take really a long time to clear and deliver. So on the same day, plane arrived, out of the door and delivered. So simplifying things, I think it's become very advanced and very smooth process, and that's all because of the help of that infrastructure and technology they used as well into airports and all of the custom clearance and everything.
So on that, and if I just look in going forward to the question I asked you earlier, if you look at where we are based in the UAE, and you got a great story, and we're not going to get into it, when we had the floods of 2024, I think it was, in the UAE, where you almost
Died.
I can't say that, can I? But here you are, and you made it.
Yeah, I got stuck.
I think the one, and there's a great story, and if people get to know you, you should tell it. But I think if you just look at, even from my perspective, looking at how quickly and resilient the country is, and you saw this firsthand, and same with Tim, I don't know if he's here, but the fast turnaround in terms of the ability to have the biggest flood since 76 or whatever decades it was, and then to see the country turn around very quickly, phenomenal. And I think as you look at our airline, as we now try and connect the world and really connect north, south, east and west as we expand the network, we want to plug into companies like yours that you do all the cool stuff, and then we are quietly operating in the background, moving packages with no one knowing about it. And I think that's what we want to get. It's difficult. It's hard work, some of these markets, because in some countries like Kuwait, you still need manual paperwork and you still need to push the stuff through. We want to make sure that we can embrace all that. And for any customers out there, is to actually build something that is almost a bit AI-ish, that you don't even know what's going on, and you shouldn't know what's going on. It's a bit scary if you think about it. But
well, the customer doesn't care.
No, he doesn't.
The customer just wants their delivery. And
he wants his package.
They just want to know where it is at all times, and they just want it on time. If not, most customers now want to be delighted by a service they're not expecting. So that's the key. It's not just delivering the expectation. In this generation, you've got to deliver more than that.
Completely agree. Right, I think we can pause for a second. There might be questions. Are there any questions? Does anyone want to have a question for the panel or for myself? The blue people. Any questions? Just raise your hand. No? Okay, I think...
Few.
Yeah?
Few.
A few.
Oh.
So, on that, I think it's been a great discussion. And I think there's a lot more to come for sure. We're doing a lot more. The network is expanding. We look forward to work with you ongoing. And also, I think equally, there's collaboration stuff we can do as well. And we've started some of that stuff anyway, because I think the glue and the synergies of the big brands coming together, it just carries a long way, and demonstrating the quality to customers. And I think that's important. And that's what we want to do collectively. Sure. Any final comments from you, Tom?
Not really. Just, I'll just say thanks for allowing us to be a part of it from the start. It's a pleasure to be the first parcel, and hopefully we won't be the last parcel.
Absolutely. And thank you for trusting us with that first package. Yeah. I think I flew with your first package. It might have been on the seat next to me. I don't know. Yeah. Right. And Nofel, anything for you?
I guess the challenge is there is always a challenge. And how do you scale, from 2 customers
Yeah.
to 50 to
That's a
100
good question.
to 200 to 300 customers. Is how do we, from a personal experience to delivering, to that premium service, similar, I guess, to how Emirates actually scaled and adding more airlines and more destination, but keeping the same promise to the customer. I would love to see that after, when you're scaling it and have more customers, to have the same experience and the same feel and service.
It's a great question, and the closing point on me for this will be, as we carry 30, 40 million passengers on the network, every single passenger counts that sits on a seat, that gets the right meal. And what sits behind that is an incredible amount of technology and processes and flight catering. So the engine behind that we know about. And what we've built on is an amazing infrastructure already. And I think that gives us a great head start. If you look at the operation we have in the hub, we move 50,000 tons a week on the bellies of the aircraft. 50 million kilos a week, and it's growing. You need to manage that very carefully. And part of that is, and I know Tom will love watching the flowers film, that we fly flowers from Quito. We have an amazing supply chain, and we measure that by the minute. Because every flower, every grape that we carry on our aircraft needs to move with precision. So that's the infrastructure that's built on, the foundation. And on top of that, we've now layered Emirates Courier Express on top of that to try and emulate and give you that same service you're talking about.
Yeah, so it was the pre-clearance also that convinced me as well, because of the story of the flowers, you know, cutting in Kenya by a certain time, landing in Amsterdam by a certain time, and on sale by a certain time. You were pre-clearing all of the goods before the aircraft even took off.
100%.
And therefore you had the ability to do that for you.
And it's building the back-end infrastructure behind it. So when it does arrive, you've got everything, the vehicle's waiting, the cool chain is all completely set up, which is key.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if there's any questions from anyone. No, we're good. I think we're going to close it at that. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank
and
you.
I hope you've learned something. And do go and check our website out, please. And talk to these lovely men if you want to. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.